Hey everybody, I welcome you all to this week's episode of Let's Random. In today's episode, I've got two amazing guests and they're going to introduce themselves. We're going to start, guys. Females.
I don't mind.
They always say ladies first, so let the lady go first. So hey lady, who are you?
So hi guys, to those of you that have been following this podcast for a while, my name is Josephine Sakala. You probably already know that, but then to those that just joined us, hi guys.
Well, and for me, on the other side, I'm really a newcomer.
Yeah.
And I go by the name of Tron Jabulani, but you can call me the Megatron. You know how it goes? Megatron.
And I'm the host, Patrick Chitengi. And in today's random discussion we're going to be talking about something which has been going around our community of late, and that's nothing other than suicide. So, like most topics, we're going to start from the definitions. So, what's suicide, guys? How would you define suicide in your own words?
Well, I think suicide is just simple, but I mean the definition, it's just somebody intentionally taking their own life. Yeah, that's what suicide is.
I think he said it all.
He said it all.
Simple and straightforward.
Yes, it's simple and
Okay, you sound like those students in class. No, he said it all. Anyway, I actually agree with you. I think that's a simple and basic definition which just explains everything. Yeah. So we just want to talk about suicide, like I already mentioned, and as you heard from Megatron, he already defined it for us, and I think we're going to dive in right now and just talk about the causes. What do you think are some of the causes of suicide?
With regard to causes of suicide, I would just like to highlight that nobody just wakes up one day and randomly just says, I'm bored. Let me try to take my life. So with regard to suicide, there's obviously a long-term struggle that somebody has gone through, and this looks like the most appealing option for them. So now, before we even know what specific thing caused someone to commit suicide, I think one thing we should ask ourselves is, what did this person go through that they were like, suicide is a good option? Because humans' natural instincts are to preserve ourselves. Right now, what's coming to my mind is the fight and flight hormones. Yeah, whether to run or protect yourself. So for a person that would want to intentionally harm themselves, it takes me back to the fact that, wow, what did this person go through? And they're like, okay, killing myself is the only option. So I feel like even before we go into the causes, that's one thing that we should just have a what you call those moments, self-reflection type of thing.
And then what causes those self-reflections for somebody to reach at that point, which I think it brings us back, to certain disorders, mental disorders specifically, like anxiety, we talk about bipolar, because how these things just come together. It's like right now you're gonna be this happy person, and then the next thing you don't even know what hits you, and then you are this sad person, and then it's in those moments when you kind of like start questioning your existence, be like, wait, maybe like what's really happening with me? You understand? It's like sometimes we don't even notice that we actually have a bipolar disorder, because when we are happy, when something nice is happening to you, when something good is happening to you, you don't really I think we never acknowledge it so much compared to when something bad is happening to you.
Yeah, that's
you
so
understand?
True. That's
so you find that we tend to throw away the good parts, and then we focus so much on the bad things, and then we're just like there now. We're thinking about all of these things. Oh no, let me do this, or maybe let me commit suicide. Maybe people don't like me like that. I don't even deserve to be here. And then speaking of disorders, we talk about personality disorders. You so many different things that can cause that. It could be maybe there's a part of yourself that you don't like. You're too insecure with yourself. You have low self-esteem. All of these things that could be caused by so many things around you. It could be the society that you're in. It could be the people around you, the things that you see all the time. That lead you into looking at yourself in a different way.
I think another thing is basically emotions. Like and you know that this emotion that you may be having, and you haven't really like dealt with them, like bottled up emotions. So like we rarely process things that we go through as human beings. There are just a handful of people who are good at processing their emotions, and in through things like we've got these misconceptions about what being strong is. For example,
it is what it is.
So it's like everybody wants to be strong. Something happens,
which is so fake, actually. And that's one thing that I've noticed about this. You know, I don't want to say generation, but you know, I don't know. It's the era that we're in. It's like we are in this. We've got this fake savagery that we try to portray out there. Even when you're going through something that is so deep. It's like you kind of continue bottling yourself up and you're not letting yourself out.
I have this friend that's always like, the world won't stop for me, so I might as well continue moving. Like something bad happens, you don't want to stop and grieve for that thing and just be in the moment.
And then you just continue
moving.
Yes.
Because what we don't realize that every brought up emotion affects how we respond to life, how we react with people, how we relate with them.
Even to future situations.
So for example, I've been hurt here and maybe somebody said something bad about me. And I'm like, okay, let me not deal with it. You just step on it and you don't deal with it. Next time you're relating with somebody, right? You might end up using the same thing. Because it becomes more like a defensive mechanism. So in the process, you're hating more people. You're hating more people and you're actually hating yourself. And it just takes one trigger and all these emotions just start spilling out.
Coming out.
And it becomes so, emotions are better. Emotions are easier to deal with one at a time.
Like as they come.
Yes, as they come. But when they bottle up like too much, they become too much to bear. And I think now suicide becomes like the only getaway or the only way you can make just everything stop.
Yes. That's very true.
What other causes do you have in mind, guys?
So
I think looking at the causes that we've mentioned, disorders, personality disorders, anxiety disorders, we take a look at, as you just mentioned, you mentioned about emotions. I think these are some of the major, reasons why people commit suicide.
I feel like all these things fall under these things. Like for example, depression, it falls under mental health related issues if left undealt with. Emotions, literally someone will tell you something bad and you don't deal with that. It haunts you, and you just start looking at life differently. So I feel like for me, the main cause of suicide should be leaving things undealt with. It
doesn't matter what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Emotions, it can be something to struggling you mentally, but you don't deal with that.
Like just living.
So sometimes it's not all about certain mental issues, but again at the same time it's like these things work together. First of all, one thing before I get to my point, one thing that I always say is that if mentally you're not stable, it'll be very hard for you to also do other things, either physical things, either emotional things, social things, whatever. Once you are when you're disturbed somehow, mentally, it'll be hard for you to do so many things. And then which I think one or another, regardless of whatever situation, that would lead you to suicide, it always comes back to your mind, because for you to reach to that point, this chapel food, that something has really bothered you. And then so sometimes it's not automatic mental stuff or mental disorders or whatever we mentioned at the beginning, but sometimes it could be actually physical things, social things. It could be the fact that you are poor, you're trying your best, you're working, you're trying to find jobs, you want a soft life. I mean, we all want a soft life, right? But then it's like, man, things are just really not adding up.
And in the long run, it ends up affecting your mental health.
Yes, and in the long run, now you're like, okay, maybe I'm one of those people that are just meant to be poor. Things are never gonna work out for me regardless of what I do, and then you end up, committing suicide. And then another thing, speaking of something in the same line, is when sometimes you don't like something about yourself. There's one particular thing that you don't like about yourself. It could be maybe the way you look, the way you talk, the way you do all sorts of things, and then
your shape.
Yes, it could be all of that. And then either one, you feel insecure, or two, people have actually told you off to your face.
Yeah, like sometimes you'd be okay with yourself, and then people are not okay with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all of these things just come and bottle up to your head. To be like, wait, maybe I'm one of those people that is just not.
Maybe I'm a mistake.
I'm excluded from this society. Those are words that I'm looking for. Standards. And then you're just like, man, you know what? I don't deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Let me just go.
And at times, I think it's abuse. Abuse can be physical, verbal, and I want to talk about mainly verbal abuse. At times
this is something that we overlook much.
Especially, I'll talk about it in two kinds of relationships. The first kind of relationship is husband and wife relationship. Yeah. So you find at times the husband always uses bad words towards the wife,
which is usually the case,
wife
especially
has cooked,
in Africa,
or the wife has done something. There's always these words that you always call your wife by or your husband by.
Yes. You know what I mean? It's always so crazy.
And at times it's the opposite way. The wife now be having this verbal abuse against the husband. Maybe the husband lost the job. Useless. And all these adding.
But you're right. So and speaking of, you did a good thing to bring up marriages and relationships. This is one thing that I'm always going to say. The reason, the main reason that causes relationships, that I think, from what I've seen, relationships not to work, is the failure to coexist. Two people to coexist. What do I mean by this? Is that we are together. You have your own beliefs. You have where you come from. And I have my own beliefs of where I come from. If we come together as boyfriend and girlfriend, we are supposed to understand what you believe in and what I believe in, and then we try and see how we can coexist together. From what we believe, and then we see how we can manage to live together. You understand? With those beliefs. And then when this thing is here, arguments are going to be there, here and there. But it's one of the things that now you find that or things are just not working out. And then at the end of the day now you have all of these emotions coming up in your head, and it's just crazy.
Okay, so we've talked about causes. The next thing I would like us to talk about now is how do you think we can create a safe space? A space where people can come and open up about being suicidal and the like. Like I feel most of the times when you hear cases of suicide, you find many people be like, I never knew anything. You find the best friend is saying, I never thought this would happen. You look like a happy person, At times the family will be like, we did not know anything, And that itself, for me, apart from just thinking he was just dealing with things alone, what it really speaks so much in the aspect that it means if for example somebody who's very close to me commits suicide, it makes me question how come they're not able to open up with me. So now the question is, did I give them enough safe space to be able to open up? So how do you think we can create a safe space as a community, as a nation, as just people, for people to open up and share their problems and the like? Because I feel if somebody who's close to me commits suicide without me getting to know about it,
then meaning you never give them a chance.
It might just the reason might just be that they did not find a safe space. It didn't see me as somebody who could confide in. So how do we become people whom people can come and confide in? Not just suicide, just like going through things. Because it's going through things which leads to suicide. So suicide is like a fruit or a result, but it's not the root. So the root are things that people go through. So I want to talk about how do we create now that safe space for people to be able to open up about what they're going through.
Well, so one thing that I always talk about, and this is something that I always preach about so much, is empathy. Because empathy is being able to relate. And this is one thing that I think we don't. This is something that we overlook so much. I'm a certain way. I do things a certain way. But then you, as Josephine, who doesn't do those things, the moment you look at me, you'll be like, you know, there's always that.
Yeah.
And then it's because of that thing. Already the fact that you look at me in a certain way, even if you're going through a certain problem, you're not going to come to me.
Yeah.
Because already you already have a perception of what I am like. So you think, oh no, if I go and talk to Jabulani, I go talk to Tron, he's the first not going to tell me anything because, you know, he's not even in this line. And that's why we all get it wrong. Well, first of all, I think at the same time, you need to know me for you to know who I am. And then you also as the person, you need to understand that, okay, but this guy is like this. But, you know, I mean, what if it's not that bad? You know, what if there could be something good out of this?
Yeah.
You know, so if we're very empathetic, I think we'll be able to allow people to come to us when they have any problem. You know,
yes, that's true.
Yes, and also, you know, the way we behave, I think that the main way is just being empathetic, you know. So I might not know who you really are, but, you know, I mean, we all have instincts, we all have certain feelings, you know. I might be around Josephine, I might be like, okay, maybe, you know, I could be, you know, some type of way. You know, let me just turn it down a little bit, you know, just to kind of like relate with you and to just be, you know, at least in your space. Let me not make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then if we could all be this way around certain people or around people basically, I think that way we could always show this safe space to say, okay, you know what, I can talk to this person.
And I feel like another thing for me is respecting each other's opinions on certain things, because if I make a comment on a specific topic, how you respond to me is going to
it's going to affect how you move from that point. Yes.
Like if, for example, I said, I don't like girls with short hair.
Yeah.
Then you start adding on to that and like giving me all this negative feedback. When I feel like I'm in a certain position where I need someone to talk to, I won't look at you because you're so judgmental. You just brought in all these things. You know? So I feel like it's also important to just respect people in general and their opinions.
This is why it's why I say like that's empathy. So if I'm able to know that, okay, you know what, maybe if I say this, it's not gonna go well with Josephine. You know, I should be able to tone it down. I should be able to divert from whatever I want to say. And that way, you know, we'll be able to create a safe space for people to be able to be themselves, for people to be able to express themselves and you know, to just be free.
Like you had earlier mentioned coexisting in relationships. I feel like it should go further than just relationships. You know, like I should also be able to coexist with my friends. Like we all come from different places.
You know,
we were all brought up differently. Just
I think even how we respond to what's happening. Like for example, let's say this is a family, or maybe you guys are my friends, and we hear somebody kill themselves. Like somebody committed suicide.
Very true.
How we react to that makes it clear to people around us. Say they can find a safe space in us.
Even the very people in that same.
So you find that happens, and you hear comments like nakuta chensima, shan. You know, it's very funny, but you find this is a very serious situation.
It's very true.
So if I hear Megatron here respond to a case, a suicide case, say anakuta chensima. How do you expect me when I feel suicidal to open up to him? It's impossible for me to open up to him because I already know. Say he thinks people who commit suicide are fed up of food. You know. So how we respond to situations around when we hear about somebody maybe somebody became said maybe self-harming, or maybe somebody lost his job and they're depressed. How do we respond to that? So how we respond to situations in the community makes the community know if they can find a safe space in us or not. So, and another thing that I would also say is just being loving. You know, being loving people around us. If people see you're loving, you care about people genuinely, it becomes easy for them to open up with you. You can think about
just being kind, you know, just being nice.
Being nice and
just
kind.
being nice and kind. It's just
like I'll never understand those people that are just naturally bitter.
Yeah. But then again, you know, that's the thing. So the way we're talking about here, so I think what we should end up looking at is, why are you bitter?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like, why?
It also goes back to those issues that you left.
Yes. It goes back to those issues because at the same time, it's because of us. You know, when we look at someone, we know that this person is bitter. The more we keep on growing the narrative that, oh no, she is so bitter. Nobody wants to be around her. And sometimes it's true, nobody wants to be around you. You don't know what that person goes through when he or she goes back to their house. And now they're thinking, oh my God, nobody really wants to be with me. You know what? I'm bitter. That's it. You know? And then these are the same people now that we find, oh no, Anazifa, why? We don't know.
Yes. So in responding to such situations is, despite them being bitter or us thinking they are bitter, let's still love them. If we love them enough, despite that, it becomes easy for them to open up to us. Say, okay, this is what happened to me. This is why I'm bitter.
Very true.
So just loving, having genuine care for people, and I don't know if you guys have other things.
Another thing for me is vulnerability in relationships, because if, for example, I have a boyfriend. That's not funny, bro.
Okay, go on.
So for example, I have this boyfriend, and in our relationship, I've never had him tell me about a time when he feels low, he feels sad, and then now I'm thinking, okay, I feel bad about this, and I'm scared to tell him because he's never opened to me about him feeling this way. Like, how will he see me? You know? So I feel like if we talk about things in whatever kind of relationship, it also gives the other person, so if she can tell me about this, I can also open up about this.
That's so true, because I think even in, this is not related to mental health, but I think even in churches, for example, when we portray a picture that we're perfect, it becomes hard for people who are struggling to open up. But if once in a while a pastor would say, okay, you know what, I struggle with this at times. People realize, he's also human, so I can actually share my struggle with him. They have hopes I can deal with this. So like in the example of the boyfriend, if the boyfriend at times is going through something and they're shared once or twice, you will understand, so he actually is not perfect. So if despite him going through these things, he's able to still be the way he is, there's hope for me. So let me just talk to him and find out how he manages to deal with this. I think that's one of the, you're right, that's one of the things that can help us create a safe space. And I hope these safe spaces can be created not just in schools, not just in universities, because everybody's talking about, we need mental health advocacy in universities, in schools, but we need that in homes.
Everywhere.